Hey guys, if you're new to this channel, my name is Nikhil. I've been living in Germany for about 8 years now, and this channel is all about sharing my experiences, knowledge, and my life here in Germany so that you know how it is to live here. So I've been living in this beautiful city of Hamburg for a couple of years now, but it's also one of the most expensive cities in Germany. So today we're going to talk about the cost of living here in Germany. So the majority portion of your expenses goes to your rent, but it kind of depends where you're living at. I mean, if you're living in the downtown city, then obviously it costs more than living in the suburbs. So here in Germany, there are different types of accommodations, especially for students. One is called Wohngemeinschaft in German, which is nothing but shared accommodation. So you share your accommodation with other people. For example, if it's a 3-bedroom apartment, then you have a common living space, common kitchen, and a common bathroom, sometimes even 2, depending on apartment, and each individual person has their own room. Now, if you're a student, I do prefer to live that way because you get to meet new people from different cultures and backgrounds. For example, if you're living in a German Wohngemeinschaft or your roommates are German, then you can learn their culture, you can integrate with them, you can learn German as well by talking to them while cooking or spending time together on the weekends. So it's a good way to learn the language and also the culture, to kind of integrate into the German culture if you're a student here in Germany. So in Germany you have 2 different types of rent, the Kaltmiete or the cold rent and the Warmmiete or the warm rent. Now the Kaltmiete is the cold rent excluding additional expenses, for example heating costs, electricity and water costs as well. And the Warmmiete is the expenses that include all these and sometimes even the internet as well. So if you're living in a Wohngemeinschaft or a student dorm, then usually you have the Warmmiete, so you don't have to pay any additional costs to your rent. So these kind of range differ between how big your room is, how big the apartment is, and where it is located. Okay, so the other type of accommodation for students is the student dorms. Now each university has their own student dorm. It's like a big building where you have shared kitchens, bathrooms and single rooms. So it's not like an apartment, but it's more of a student apartment where the whole building is completely of students. Now these rooms are rented out only to the students, but it doesn't matter if you belong to that university or not. You can still apply for it. There's also one more type of apartment called Einzimmerwohnung or one-room apartment. So I live in a one-room apartment, or in English it could be called a studio apartment. Now my apartment is kind of a YouTube studio, so maybe that's where it gets the name. Now this is again subjective and depends on your lifestyle, but I think the average range is about 100 to 150 euros. It's only natural at the start to convert into our home currency and find everything here is expensive, but try to avoid that comparison. Now a beer at a pub costs about 5 euros and the same beer at a supermarket costs 1 euro. And a nice meal at a nice restaurant costs about 10 to 15 euros on average. So the most common thing that students do when they first come here is buy a brand new iPhone with a 2 years contract. Now this will obviously increase your monthly expenses, and also keep in mind that you're obliged to pay every month that certain amount of money for the next 2 years or until your contract ends. Now you also have cheap service providers here in Germany which can go up to 10 euros for basic calling and 1 GB or 2 GB data internet. I used to have a contract with O2 provider and he used to give me 15 GB of internet, but I never used more than 5 GB, and all that 10 GB that I'm paying for is waste. So think before you sign a contract here in Germany, because you are committed to it until the contract ends. So the other monthly expense that you can't escape from is the broadcasting fee or the radio bill, what they call it in Germany. Now this is a contribution to the government which provides free radio and television services. So this broadcasting fee is about 17.5 euros a month, and this is for the whole household. For example, if you're living in a Wohngemeinschaft, 3 people, then this can be shared between 3 people, or it's highly likely that somebody else or your landlord is already paying that, so you don't have to pay it. So getting connection with the people you're living with or your landlord. If they're already paying, then you don't have to pay it. So the other compulsory living cost is the health insurance. There's no getting around it. You have to pay it if you want to get your visa extended or to get a job or to do anything here in Germany. You do need a health insurance. So the most important question is the cost of living too high for a student in Germany? Well, the answer is yes and no. It kind of depends on you. As a student, you can work 20 hours a week, and with the minimum wage of 10 euros an hour, you get about 200 euros a week into 4, which is 800 euros a month. As a full-time employee, I don't spend more than 1,000 euros a month, so normally, in normal cases, 800 euros should be sufficient for a student here living in Germany. So if you want to watch other videos about life in Germany, then click here. Or if you want to explore these beautiful cities in Europe, then click here. And I'll see you guys in my next video.